Hello everyone and welcome. Today we are going to talk about something that is shaping the future of the entire world, artificial intelligence. But more specifically, we are going to talk about the infrastructure behind AI. Because when most people think about AI, they think about applications like ChatGPT, AI video, AI trading tools, AI assistants, and automation. But what many people don't realize is that behind every AI system, every AI application, and every AI service, there is something extremely important running in the background, and that is massive computing power. AI doesn't run on ideas alone. AI runs on hardware, data centers, and enormous processing capacity. And right now, the demand for this computing power is exploding across the world. Companies, universities, research labs, governments, and technology platforms are all competing for access to the infrastructure that can power AI systems. And this is exactly where AIX comes in. AIX is building what we call an AI infrastructure network, a system designed to supply the computing power needed to support the next generation of AI applications. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through this presentation. So, what is AI hash power? Before we go further, it's important that we understand one key concept. What exactly is AI hash power? Because this is the engine that powers the entire AI industry. When people use AI applications, whether it's ChatGPT, AI video generation, image creation, automation tools, or data analysis, these systems are performing billions and sometimes trillions of calculations every second. Those calculations cannot happen on a normal computer. They require extremely powerful hardware. And this is what we call AI computing power, or AI hash power. AI hash power is built from three main components. First, GPU clusters. GPUs are specialized processors that are designed to perform massive numbers of calculations in parallel. These are the same types of processors used by companies like NVIDIA to train large AI models. Instead of a single GPU, AI infrastructure often combines hundreds or even thousands of GPUs together, forming what we call GPU clusters. Second, we have AI servers. These servers coordinate and manage the workload across all the GPUs. They distribute tasks, process data, and ensure that the AI models can run efficiently. Third, we have the data center infrastructure. This includes the physical facilities where these machines operate, the power supply, cooling systems, networking equipment, and the high-speed internet connections that allow data to move across the world in milliseconds. When you combine all of these elements together, GPU clusters, AI servers, and large-scale data centers, you create the massive processing power required to train and run AI systems. And this is why computing power has become one of the most valuable resources in the technology industry today. In fact, many of the largest companies in the world are currently competing for access to this infrastructure, because without computing power, AI simply cannot exist. Exploding global demand for AI computing. Now that we understand what AI computing power actually is, the next question becomes very important. How big is the demand for it? And the answer is, it's exploding globally. Right now, we are witnessing one of the largest technology races in history. The biggest technology companies in the world are investing hundreds of billions of dollars to secure access to AI infrastructure. Let's look at just a few examples. Google has announced investments of over $100 billion into artificial intelligence and the infrastructure required to support it. NVIDIA, obviously the company that produces many of the world's most powerful AI processors, has seen its revenue nearly triple in just 2 years, largely driven by the demand for AI hardware. Amazon is investing more than $150 billion into cloud infrastructure, much of which is designed specifically to support AI services and computing power. Microsoft has launched massive AI partnerships and investments worth over $10 billion, while integrating AI into nearly every part of its ecosystem. And Meta is planning to deploy hundreds of thousands of GPUs, building one of the largest AI computing clusters in the world. What this tells us is something very important. The demand for AI computing power is not just growing, it is accelerating at an extraordinary pace. And despite these massive investments from some of the largest companies on Earth, there's still a global shortage of AI computing power. In other words, the demand for AI infrastructure is currently far greater than the available supply, which means the world is entering what many analysts now describe as a global race to build more AI infrastructure. And this creates a very interesting opportunity. Because whenever a new technological revolution happens, the companies and individuals who help build the infrastructure behind that revolution are often the ones who benefit the most. And that is exactly the space where AIX is positioning itself. Why the demand for AI computing is exploding. So the next logical question is, why is the demand for AI computing power increasing so dramatically? There are actually two major forces happening at the same time. And when these two forces collide, they create the massive opportunity we are seeing today. Let's look at the first one. Step one, the AI market itself is exploding. Artificial intelligence is no longer just a research project or a future technology. It is already becoming part of everyday life. Businesses are using AI to automate processes. Companies are using AI for data analysis and decision making. Developers are building AI applications for writing, design, video generation, software development, customer service, and much more. Almost every industry is now exploring how to integrate AI into their products and services. And because of this rapid adoption, analysts are predicting that the AI industry could reach more than $15 trillion in global market value by the year 2030. That is an enormous economic transformation. But here is where the second force comes in. Step two, data center shortages. While the demand for AI is growing incredibly fast, the infrastructure required to support it is not growing fast enough. Building AI data centers is extremely complex. You need powerful GPU hardware, massive electricity capacity, advanced cooling systems, high-speed networking, and specialized facilities designed specifically for AI workloads. And these things take time and huge investment to build. As a result, many companies today are facing a shortage of available AI computing power and cloud capacity, which means we are now entering what many experts describe as a global race for AI capacity. Companies around the world are trying to secure access to the computing infrastructure that will power the next generation of technology. And when you combine these two forces, explosive AI growth and limited infrastructure capacity, it creates one of the most powerful supply and demand opportunities in the technology sector today. And this is exactly where AIX enters the picture. What is DePIN infrastructure? Now, the next important question is, how can the world build enough AI infrastructure to meet this exploding demand? Traditionally, computing infrastructure has been controlled by a few large companies like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, who operate massive centralized data centers, but a new model is now emerging. It's called DePIN, Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. In simple terms, DePIN connects many distributed machines around the world into one large infrastructure network. A simple way to understand this is by looking at companies like Uber or Airbnb. Uber doesn't own millions of cars, and it connects drivers into one transportation network. Airbnb doesn't own millions of hotels. It connects properties into one global accommodation platform. DePIN works in a similar way. Instead of relying only on centralized data centers, it connects distributed computing machines into a global cloud infrastructure. This approach creates several important advantages. It allows scalable computing power, lower infrastructure costs, global accessibility, and a more resilient decentralized network. And this is why many experts believe the future of infrastructure will increasingly move toward decentralized systems. And this is exactly the foundation that AIX is building on. So now let's talk about AIX. AIX is not a new idea or project just entering the market. The company has already been operating in the AI hash mining and computing infrastructure industry for more than 3 years, developing technology and infrastructure to support the rapidly growing demand for AI computing power. During this time, AIX has focused on building the technical foundation and operational experience required to run large-scale AI infrastructure. And now, as global demand for AI computing continues to accelerate, AIX is entering its next phase of expansion. The network is growing, the infrastructure is scaling, and this expansion opens the door for individuals to participate in the infrastructure that powers the AI economy. So what we're looking at here is not just a concept, it's an established operation with infrastructure, technology, and a growing global demand behind it. And now the network is expanding. The opportunity. So after understanding the technology, the demand, and the infrastructure behind AI, the real question becomes, where is the opportunity? The opportunity is to own a piece of the infrastructure powering the AI revolution. just like the internet created massive opportunities for those who built the networks. AI is now creating the same opportunity around computing infrastructure. AIX is building a rapidly expanding AI compute network designed to support the massive global demand for AI processing power. And right now, the network is still in its early growth phase, which means there is a unique window where individuals can gain early access to participate in this infrastructure expansion. Because as the AI economy grows, the demand for computing power continues to grow with it, and those who participate early in infrastructure often position themselves ahead of the curve. This is why we call it an opportunity to own a piece of the AI infrastructure boom. But like most early stage opportunities, early access is limited. Chi mining revenue. Now let's look at how the revenue is generated. The key driver behind the entire model is AI compute demand. Companies around the world, and whether they are building AI applications, training AI models, or running AI services, all need massive computing power. Instead of building all this infrastructure themselves, many companies rent computing capacity from providers who already operate the hardware. This is where AIX infrastructure comes in. AIX provides AI computing capacity that companies can use for their AI workloads. When companies use that computing power, they pay for the compute usage. That usage generates mining or compute revenue within the network. And that revenue is then distributed to the participants who contribute to the infrastructure. So in simple terms, companies need AI computing power they use the AIX infrastructure, and the revenue generated from that usage is shared with participants in the network. AIX DPN mining ecosystem. Now let's look at how the AIX ecosystem actually works. At the center of the system is the AIX DPN mining infrastructure, which provides the computing power used for AI workloads. Participants can join the ecosystem by activating AI computing packages. These packages contribute computing capacity to the AIX network, helping expand the infrastructure that supports the growing demand for AI. Once the package is activated, that computing power becomes part of the global AIX infrastructure network. As companies use that computing power, the network generates mining and compute revenue, which is distributed back to participants. So the process is very simple. You activate computing power, you participate in the network, and you earn rewards generated by AI compute demand. And because the AI industry continues to expand globally, the ecosystem is designed to grow together with the increasing demand for AI infrastructure. Select your entry tier. Now let's look at how participants can enter the AIX ecosystem. AIX offers 4 different participation tiers, allowing people to choose the level that best fits their goals. The first level is the starter package at $600, which generates approximately 18% monthly ROI with a maximum cap of 2 times, meaning the total maximum return is $1,200. Next is the advanced package at $1,200, which generates around 22% monthly ROI and has a maximum cap of 2.5 times, meaning the total return can reach $3,000. The third option is the professional package at $3,000, which generates about 25% monthly ROI with a maximum cap of 3 times, meaning a potential total of $9,000. And finally, the enterprise package at $6,000, which generates approximately 30% monthly ROI with a maximum cap of 3.5 times, allowing up to $21,000 in total rewards. Now, an important concept to understand here is something called base efficiency, which in this system is set at 70%. What this means is that 70% of the subscription amount is allocated toward active computing power that generates mining rewards. For example, if someone activates a $3,000 package, then 70% of that amount, $2,100, is working inside the AI compute infrastructure. And when that infrastructure generates a 25% monthly return, that results in approximately $525 per month in mining rewards. The max cap simply means the total reward limit for each package. Once that cap is reached, the package is considered fully completed. This model ensures that the system remains sustainable while allowing participants to benefit from the growing demand for AI computing power. Booster compute acceleration. Now let's talk about something very important in the system, efficiency and boosters. Earlier, we mentioned that the base efficiency of each package is set at 70%. The reason for this is very simple and very practical. Operating AI computing infrastructure involves real operational costs. This includes things like electricity, hardware, cooling systems, data center operations, and ongoing maintenance. And so the system is designed so that 70% of the subscription amount is actively working as computing power, while the remaining portion covers the infrastructure costs required to run the network. This creates a realistic and sustainable operating model. Now, this is where boosters come in. Participants have the option to purchase efficiency boosters, which increase the effective computing power of their package. Each booster increases the efficiency by 10%. For example, if the base efficiency is 70%, a 10% booster increases it to 80%, meaning more of the package value is actively generating mining rewards. Boosters are optional and their cost is 10% of the package value. And depending on the package size, you can increase efficiency by 10%, 20%, or up to 30%. So in simple terms, the base system runs at 70% efficiency, but with boosters, participants can accelerate their computing performance and increase their monthly mining rewards. For someone, 10% direct sales bonus. All right. Now let's look at the first active income opportunity in the system. This is the direct sales bonus. Whenever you personally introduce someone to the AIX ecosystem and they activate a package, you receive an instant 10% bonus on the full package amount. And it's important to understand this point clearly. The 10% is calculated on the full package value, not on the 70% efficiency portion. So for example, if someone joins with a $600 starter package, you earn $60 instantly. If someone activates the $1,200 advanced package, you earn $120 instantly. If someone joins with the $3,000 professional package, you earn $300 instantly. And if someone activates the $6,000 enterprise package, the direct bonus is $600. And the key thing here is that this bonus is paid instantly when the package is activated. So every time you personally introduce someone who decides to participate in the AIX infrastructure network, you receive an immediate 10% reward. Matrix bonus 4x2 structure. The second part of the compensation system is called the matrix bonus. This is a 4x2 structure, meaning the system has two levels. On the first level, you have 4 positions directly under you. When those 4 positions activate their packages, you receive an additional 10% matrix bonus on each of those packages. So this is extra income on top of the direct sales bonus. Now, once your first 4 positions are filled, 2 important things happen. First, the matrix bonus for level 1 is paid out. And second, it unlocks the second level of the matrix. On level 2, each of your 4 positions can have 4 more positions under them, creating 16 positions on the second level. And whenever those positions activate their packages, you receive a 5% matrix bonus from each of them. So in simple terms, level 1 to 4 positions earning 10%. Level 2 to 16 positions earning 5%. And this allows your earnings to grow not only from your own activity, but also from the expansion of your team structure. The unilevel and rank bonus. The next part of the compensation system is the unilevel and rank bonus. This part rewards leaders who help grow the network and build strong teams. First, it's important to understand that rank qualification is based on total sales volume. That means 100% of the package value counts toward rank qualification when your team activates packages. For example, to reach Q1, the team volume requirement is $20,000. For Q2, it's $50,000. And as the team continues to grow, higher ranks unlock larger bonus percentages. Now, the second part is the unilevel income. While ranks are calculated from sales volume, the unilevel bonus is actually paid from your team's mining rewards. So as your team activates packages and starts generating mining rewards, you earn a percentage of those rewards. And as you advance in rank, that percentage increases. For example, at Q1, you earn 10% of your team's mining rewards. At Q2, it increases to 15%. At Q3, it becomes 20%. And at the higher leadership ranks, it can reach up to 40% of your team's mining rewards. This means that as your team grows and generates mining income, you participate in that growth through the unilevel bonus. So in simple terms, sales volume determines your rank, Mining rewards determine your unilevel income. Of course, rules applies. For example, if you are Q4 30% and your downline is Q3 20%, you will only earn the difference between the ranks, and in this case, 10%. Understanding the 80-20 rule. Now let's talk about something very important in the ecosystem, and the 80-20 payment rule. All payments into and out of the system follow the same structure. Everything works with 80% USDT and 20% AIX points. Let's take a simple example. If someone activates a $600 package, 80% is paid in USDT, which would be $480, and 20% is paid in AIX points, which would be $120. The same principle also applies when rewards are paid out. Participants receive their earnings in 80% USDT and 20% AIX points. Now, the reason for this structure is very simple. The USDT portion provides immediate liquidity, while the AIX points help support and grow the internal ecosystem. And those AIX points are not just sitting there, they can be used in several ways. For example, you can use them to purchase your own packages, sell them to new members who need AIX points, use them to purchase AIX tokens from the quota system, and additional utilities are being developed for the ecosystem. So in simple terms, every transaction in the ecosystem follows the same rule: 80% USDT and 20% AIX points. This structure ensures both liquidity and ecosystem growth at the same time. All right, why AIX matters. So let's take a moment and step back. The world is now entering one of the largest AI infrastructure booms in history. Artificial intelligence is transforming industries, businesses, and economies, and behind all of it is one critical resource: computing power. The demand for AI computing power is now growing faster than the available supply, which is why companies around the world are racing to build more infrastructure. AIX has already been operating for more than 3 years, building infrastructure and serving this growing demand. And today, something very interesting is happening. For the first time, individuals can participate in the infrastructure powering the AI economy through the AIX ecosystem. Participants can access multiple income streams powered by AI compute demand. And like most major technological shifts, those who position themselves early often benefit the most. So the real question is not whether AI will continue to grow. The real question is who will participate in building the infrastructure behind it. And right now, you understand how AIX is positioning itself in that future. The AI revolution is already happening. The only question is whether you participate in it. Thank you, and hope to see you inside of AIX Network.